The Bible contains many texts that are excellent for arousing a person's interest in spiritual matters or the matters concerning eternity. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. You know, we are all too busy in our personal lives, or we're consumed with our work life, maybe becoming a success in this world, to even think about eternity or matters of the spirit world. Many may have never really given a thought to what happens after this life, but the Bible has several verses that should make a person stop and think about eternal things. In James chapter 4 and verse 14, he says, "Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then it vanishes away." The writer has been discussing making plans for tomorrow, or at least for the near future. But in the midst of planning, he stops to consider, you really don't know what will happen tomorrow. There are plenty of people in this world today who make it their job to try to predict the future. A meteorologist will tell you when the sun is going to shine or when the rain will come, but he's actually wrong about half the time with his forecasts. Even when a huge storm or a hurricane is headed our way, about the time he predicts its course or the magnitude of the weather, it may change its directions completely. I feel sorry for the investment banker who makes it his job to predict the rise and fall of the stock market or our economy, and his failures will certainly cost someone very dearly. And the reason these cannot do their job well is you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Then James asks that question, for what is your life really? Although we all make grandiose plans for our life and our future, we have no promise of tomorrow. If I could predict where I'd be tomorrow or how successful I'd be in worldly things, I could become a millionaire. I could tell people their fortunes. But the reality is we just don't know about tomorrow or what life will bring our way. So James describes for us what a man's life is like when viewed by an almighty and eternal God. It is even a vapor that appears for a little time. Your whole life is like that vapor. We know what happens to that vapor, right? Perhaps the steam that rolls off the iron when we're pressing our clothes, or that vapor that escapes the teapot when you raise the lid just for a moment. It appears for a brief moment and it's gone, just like that. Wow. So to get our attention, the Bible tells us that our life is like a vapor that appears for a little time and then it vanishes away. Shouldn't that make us consider what I'm doing with life and the time that I have now? Or perhaps consider what happens when the vapor rises and vanishes into thin air. That will be me one day. I'll leave this world behind with maybe just the tiniest of a footprint. Where will I go? Out there in eternity. A vast space where only God has control of things. So maybe I should make some better preparations now for the afterlife before this life is gone like a vapor.